Hey, my name is Yolanda, and welcome to Frank Factualities, the podcast. Tune in each week as I speak frankly about life experiences from my perspective and offer you a bit of unsolicited advice. Let's take a little time to laugh, to think, and to cry as we tackle some serious topics and some not so serious topics. Be sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Welcome to Frank Factualities, the podcast. My name is Yolanda. Thank you for tuning into my show. I appreciate you. I hope everyone is having a great summer. I know that everyone isn't on a summer break, but summer is always the time that kind of just gets you in the best spirit. Or maybe that's just me. I'm a July baby. Summer just always puts me in a good spirit. I like it being sunny outside. I like the sun. It's just a good time for me. I like summer, I like spring, and I'm okay with fall too. Fall, I don't really feel no type of way about unless like when it gets darker and later at night in fall, it gets a little chillier. But if it's like a fire pit or some sort of heat outside, I can rock with it. But winter, cancel it. I don't want it. It's just, I can't. Just keep me inside. I need to be warm. You know how people always say, would you rather go without heat or would you rather go without air? Now, I would always say I would rather go without air. But I think I told y'all a while ago when I had that really short episode that our our air wasn't working. And ooh, child, I couldn't do that. It was a lot. Now, to be fair, I wasn't prepared. But if I could prepare myself for that, in that I got fans, I opened my windows, because I don't think I opened my windows. You know, I'm old school, and when my mom, when I grew up in my mom's house, we didn't have any AC. And if we did, when we did finally get an AC unit, she wouldn't let us turn it on because she felt like her light bill was going to go up. So she would say that it was too high. And so it was always windows open, fan in the window. And I grew up like that. So normally I don't want moving air on me. That's just not something that I'm comfortable with. So I'm still going to stick beside. I'd rather go without any AC, but I cannot for the life of me. I know people are like, you can layer up. It is not the same. My whole forehead, nose, mouth still be chilly. I'm already anemic right now. With that being said, I looked at my blood work, right? The last time I got blood work from the doctor, and I've always been told that I'm iron deficient, right? Not really labeled me anemic, but always said that I was iron deficient. But when I looked at, I take iron pills, not always as regular as I should, but I take them. So I look at my results and my iron is fine. The way that my body absorbs the iron, like those levels and numbers, all that stuff is good. And so my hemoglobin is low, oxygen level is low. And from what I've been reading, it looks like my red blood cells are small, and apparently they can't carry oxygen through my bloodstream. So I'm supposed to be very tired and fatigued and have shortness of the breath. Now, they might be right about that, because I don't know if you guys know, I actually take the time when I'm recording this to edit out my gasp for air. Part of that is I talk too fast. And so when I am taking a breath, it just seems like a very loud gasp for air. But I can't stand the sound of it. So I'll go in and lower it so you guys don't hear all of that breathing. But it may be something to that. And I honestly don't think that my anemia is coming from iron deficiency. Now, there's all other type of reasons. One is some sort of rare blood disease, and it's not really a disease. I guess it's a disorder. I don't know, but I'm starting to think it's not iron. And the only way that I'm going to figure that out is to go to a hematologist. Now, why am I saying that? You might say, well, your iron is up because you're taking iron pills, but no, man, it's not. My hemoglobin level is not changing. So no matter how much iron I take, it's not moving my hemoglobin level. So every time I get my finger pricked, I'm still low. It's not moving the needle. So I'm just like, what's the point of me taking it if it's not going to bring my levels up? It's just, and my feet are always cold. My hands are cold. It gets to a point. And I think that, yes, I am always tired, but it's my normal. So I don't know what I would be if I got my oxygen level up in my blood. I might be like slim because now I feel I'll have enough energy to work out. I'll be able to move the pounds off. But most of the time I get tired really, really fast doing things. So anyway, yeah, I think that's something I need to look into. And I don't want to self-diagnose myself, but I think that most doctors are used to, okay, they have low hemoglobin levels, then it's automatically iron deficiency. And that's what people go to automatically. And I understand that, but I need you to dig a little deeper because I need some energy, okay? Anyway, moving right along. I got to go get a relaxer tomorrow, and I'm a little hesitant about it because every time it's time to get a relaxer, your hair always itches or your scalp seems to be extra irritated. And I don't really have time for that. I wanted my relaxer to be nice. I don't want to, when you go to the hair salon, you want to be relaxed. You don't want to be stressed. You don't want your scalp just on fire, but I got a feeling that's what's going to happen. I put some oil on my scalp. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. I'm probably going to base my own hair and ask them to base it again tomorrow, like double layer of basing, just because, I know it doesn't prevent burning, but it definitely gives you an extra protection of coverage on your scalp, because I just don't feel like that, man. I don't have time for it. I don't want it to burn. I don't know what else to do. So we'll see. Yeah. So anyway, y'all, my Frank line is still open, just in case you may have forgotten. You can reach me at country code 1, area code 803-997-0846 from 7 p.m. to 7:30 Eastern Standard Time if you want to make the live recording of the show. Any other time, you can call me. I'm off right now. It's my summer break, so I'm chilling. I got a little bit of time. You can also send me a message on any of my social media handles. I'm on all of them except for X. And yeah, that's it. You can also send me an email at frankfactualities@gmail.com of any situation that you would like for me to review, to give my take on, or if you would like to give me a topic idea. Okay? Now, let's get straight into Street Talk.
Yeah, what's going on? Let me know.
All right, so I'm going to talk about something I don't know if this is Street Talk or Hot Topics or not, but it's something that annoys me, and I've noticed it's been happening a lot because I've been going to a lot of little different events and things since I've been off. And Kai Cenat just had his auditions in Atlanta for his Streamer University, and they ended up having to shut it down because the people would not get in line and get in order. And I noticed that even when we have things at the school and we tell the kids, okay, line up, nobody can do a straight line. We've been taught this since kindergarten, but nobody can do it. It's always a double line. It's always a crowd. People always feel like, okay, I see my homegirl, so I'm going to walk up there towards her. And we can't just never get right. And you wonder why people rope the thing off and I would rope it so tight that only one person could stand at the rope. Like it would be so skinny that it has to be a single file line. And so Kai sent the message out like, hey guys, they're going to shut it down if y'all don't get up off the glass. Like, please just get in a line so that we can get this thing going. Well, they couldn't get right, and they ended up having to close it. Like at some point, it's just not that big of a deal. Like y'all got to abide and follow rules and not think that you could just show up and behave and move however you want to. Things really would go a lot smoother if we just follow protocol. And I think that's why sometimes I avoid going places, because I have gotten to the age where those things really do annoy me and really do piss me off. And I can't control that. There's nothing my little self can do about people not following and adhering to things. But I also will say out loud, like, okay, well, the sign says don't stand there. So you're going to get a stink face, and I'm going to say it out loud, like, well, maybe we would move if the people would back up like they've asked us to do several times. Like I'm that girl that would say that, and I don't give a shit, because what are you going to do? Now, yeah, some people probably would do something, but yeah, I don't care. So y'all just follow the rules. You know what I'm saying? I don't really think that that's hard to ask. So anyway, let's get into the topic of the day. So I have a couple of different things. I was watching 5 Pounds of Pressure today on Netflix. You know, summer's my time to just binge watch on movies and series. And I watched that movie today, and the man said something in there, and I posted it on my Frank Factualities Instagram as a quote, but he says, there's nothing special about wanting to be special. It's the most ordinary thing in the world. And that made me think, because I love just these one-liners and quotes, and I come up with my own a lot. And that one just kind of resonated. It was simple, but it made sense. I feel like so often we all are trying to just be special. Like everybody wants to be special and wants to be known for something, that they lead with that so much, but it's really nothing special about wanting that. It's really ordinary because we all do it. I found myself and my friends when we went to the conference wanting up in each other about our sexual experiences and who was more experienced or knew things. And it was just something that was crazy, but we just ended up doing it without even knowing that we were doing it. And I'm just like, what? Afterwards, now to be fair, alcohol was involved. So let me just go ahead and give that disclaimer. But anyway, I think that we should just, like, people around you, your family, your friends, or just people in observance will automatically know what stands out about you and what makes you special. You don't have to go the extra mile to be special. Does that make sense? You don't have to say, I'm going to lead with my sexuality. I'm going to lead with the fact that I have a bunch of tattoos. I'm going to get a bunch of tattoos so that makes me unique from everybody else. I'm going to wear my hair always super blonde, almost bleach blonde, because that gets me the attention. That makes me special. I want to be a standout. I think that who you are already, outside of doing something different to be the standout and making yourself special, you don't need to do that. Like, people can already say what makes you special. You know, if you choose to ask, you can always ask the people that are most close to you. They'll always tell you what makes you special and unique. But yeah, I just thought that was a bomb quote. And following that, I saw a post from some girl who was talking about how we as people need to start learning new versions of the people that we love and not assume that these are the same people. And that, to me, that goes into knowing that a person is special, right? Like, even though you may know this thing about a person, we all grow and evolve. And sometimes those people don't grow and evolve with you, and they always still want to put you in a certain box, right? And that's how they tend to treat you and move with you. And I don't like that. Like, that happened to me with a friend of mine, and it ultimately damaged our friendship. And I don't think that I articulated well what I was feeling, but what that lady said was exactly what it was. I was becoming a new version of myself, and my friend, to me, treated me like the version of myself that she had met, right? The first version of me she met is how she continued to treat me, but I had grown and evolved so much over that time, and I just didn't feel like the way she handled and treated me and how our relationship and the dynamic of it was going was indicative of who I was at that moment. And it was very frustrating, and it just made me feel like I wasn't valued and that I was less than, and I didn't like it. And I didn't know how to express it. I didn't know how to share what I was feeling. I ended up building up resentment towards her because of how I felt. And hindsight, of course, is always 2020. I wish that I was able to, as these things were happening and examples of her making me feel as though I was the old me, I could have said something, corrected it in those moments. And even if I didn't in those moments, it was time that I could have talked about it and truly said how I felt. But if I'm being honest, I've only learned how to express myself and how I truly feel once I've gone to therapy. That's that. Now I'm able to kind of say how I truly feel. But what I just said in the scenario, it really affects us in our friendships and even with our family members, because you're thinking about your cousin and how you all were when you grew up. And sometimes we just don't see our family and the growth and the places that they've been and the things that they've done and who they become. Some of them are parents and grandparents, and yet we're still treating them like our little cousin and sunning them every time they come around us. You got to respect people for who they are and where they are in that moment, and not treat people like what they've been through or who they are 10, 20 years ago. Hell, I'm different from last month, and we got to learn to keep up with that. And to me, that reigns more true in a marriage, right? It's actually what has to happen in a marriage for it to be sustainable. You have to grow with your partner, and if you don't, you guys will grow apart. So you have to learn the new version of your partner damn near every other month, I feel like, because they're going to experience things. They're going to grow. They're getting older. Their interests are going to change. The things that they want to do is going to change. My husband, when I met him, was in the education, felt like he didn't want to do that no more, got out of education, but was miserable. And I kept pushing him to get back into education. He didn't want to do it because it was on his own time. Then he finally got back into education. He's much happier. But guess what? I had to go through those ebb and flows. I had to follow him throughout that process and deal with the different versions of him not being happy with his career choices. That was frustrating, but I had to ride the wave, and he had to ride the wave for me. When he met me, I was at a job. I had graduated undergrad, but I decided I wanted to go back to college to be in grad school, and I was pregnant at the time. He had to deal with that. Once I got my degree, I was still working at the job that I was at prior to getting the degree. And he had to watch me go through that process of trying to find a job in education and then getting the job and then going through the ebb and flows of that, not being respected at the job, learning the job, fucking up on the job, all of these different things and having these woes and coming home. That wasn't the person that he met. I wasn't having those woes. I worked at a call center. There was nothing that I did that I took home. There was no work woes back then, so just growing with each other is very important. I want to talk about us women in particular, because, and I'm jumping all over the place, but I'm not. I want to talk about us women in that I think that we probably are contributors to that the most. I know that I watch that happen a lot when it comes to exes. Too many of us are stuck on our ex. And because we're stuck on our ex, we think that somehow he's going to spin the block or somehow that relationship is going to come back twofold. It don't even matter how long it's been. I know people stuck on their ex from 10 years ago, hell, a couple of months ago. But I think that what we really need to realize is that person that we met is not the person that we broke up with. And it goes back to what I said about learning people and the different versions of them. If you realize and start remembering the person that broke up with you or the person that ex was when you all ended the relationship, I don't think you will be as stuck on the ex as we are or we tend to be, right? And I'm saying we because I want you guys to feel like this is an inclusive conversation, but I ain't stuck on nobody, okay? But I just want to say that to, as a source of comfort, you got to understand that those people are not the same. He or she is not the version of themselves that you fell in love with. They are either they're the same person that broke up with you or that led you to break up with them or that led the relationship to end, or they're a totally different person from that. But you can't keep remembering when the times were good and forgetting when the times were bad, because those things happen and ultimately was the demise of the relationship. So that needs to be in the forefront of your memory. Whenever you decide that you want to get back with an ex, you remembering them, they reach out and they say, hey, I want to get back with you. People have to show you the new version of them. And if you have not met the new version of that ex, then you don't need to be getting back with them. Allow them time to show you who they are. I'm not saying you shouldn't go back with an ex, but I'm saying that you should see a different version of them. And you're not going to do that by jumping back into bed with them instantly. You need to talk with them. You need to discover what their new things they're into. See if you can recognize change in a new version, or see if you recognize old behavior that led to the demise of your relationship in the first place. Follow through with that and find out if that person is somebody that you want to continue with or do. I'm not saying people don't change, but I think everybody is looking for that Ashanti and Nelly vibe. Everybody wants that old thing back. And I get it. It's probably the last relationship you had that was half decent, that you felt the best in. And if you're not in anything now, or if you are in something now, but it's not comparable to what you had, you're still stuck on that. And that's normal. Everybody feels that way. But it's not okay to, especially if you're in a relationship, to hold on to that, because you're doing the person that you're with a disservice. Let them people be happy since you still stuck on somebody else. That's not fair to hold somebody hostage while you pray that your ex come back. And if you're not with somebody, then you don't need to spin the block unless you see some change, because now they're coming back to hold you back in the hostage of something that you already done moved past. You get what I'm saying? But you got to know what you want. I think that we have to stop thinking that we can just find what we were missing in our last relationship, but yet not get what we want. Never lead in finding something by determining, okay, I'm going to find what I didn't have in my last relationship, but look at what you need for you to be happy in a relationship overall, and not just in the moment, but for the long run. If you know you want somebody that wants to be married, then you need to be making sure that you're talking to somebody who's looking for a long-term relationship that could prayerfully lead into marriage, right? If they're not looking to be married, then fine. Then you don't need to be talking to them because that's not what you want. You can't, and we got to stop this. When I say we, I mean women, because we do this. For some reason, we think that the longer we're with them, the more likely they are to change their mind. Well, if he gets to know me and then we fall in love, then he's going to want to marry me. Or he said he don't want children, but I'll change his mind. Or if I get pregnant, then he's so sweet, he's not going to tell me to get rid of the baby. Like, don't do that. Don't be delusional. If the person tells you it, 9 times out of 10, that's how they feel. And then you can't be mad on the back end when they start treating you differently because you moved in a way that they already told you they weren't happy with. That's the worst thing for me. When you tell somebody up front what your boundaries are, what your expectations are, what you want, and then they disregard them, and then they just go do what they want to do, hoping that that's going to change how you feel about a thing. And then when you change on them, then you end up being the bad guy because it's like, my nigga, I already told you. So then why are you acting like this, right? So don't be that person, okay? Don't do that. If they telling you already that this isn't what they want, you're not going to change their mind about it. You got to get out of that. You got to stop thinking that you're going to change somebody and how they feel or think about a thing. Even you can't give somebody more love and think that they're going to like you more because you put in more. No, they got to put in the effort. And then you can see that they like you more. You doing something ain't going to change how they feel about something, right? And sometimes you just got to say things out loud. Like whatever you thinking, I need you to just say it out loud and imagine that somebody else told you that, because that's the only way some of you all are going to see the things that you say don't make any sense, or that you playing yourself sometime, right? And another thing, this is a little bit to the left. Where are my glasses? Because I can't see a thing. I'm trying to look at how much time I've been on this thing and I can't see. Oh, I'm doing good. So another thing, do you guys follow this girl on Instagram? I don't know if she's on any other platform, but her name is Ashley L. Dalton. And she has this platform. Her advice is level up advice is what she calls it. And she has these live sessions where people come on and they ask her, like, how do I level up my look? Sometimes it's just a look. How do I level up? I'm a stay-at-home mom and I want to not look like that when I go out. Some of the women, which is most of them, they say, I want to level up the type of man I attract. I don't want to get Pookie in them anymore. I want a man who makes 6 figures. I want a man who has millions. I want a rich, high profile dude, and I want to know how I can level up to get that. And most of her advice most of her advice is about aesthetics. She tells you how you should change your look. And I started thinking, because I follow her and I think she's fascinating and I like her frank approach, right? It's the reason I named my podcast Frank Factualities. And I think that she does it a little bit more frank than me. And I think that I get in my professional head sometimes, and I still think, okay, this is Yolanda, the school counselor. You can't say things to ruffle any feathers. And one day I'm going to get past that. Anyway, I'm saying that to say, oftentimes I've been hearing a lot of women say that they keep attracting the same guy, or they don't know why they aren't getting in any relationship or why a man isn't approaching them. And I don't think we do enough inner work and inner and outer work. And I want to say, if that is you and you are single, I encourage you to go, not the stress on that ex that we just talked about, but to level up and level up your inner, meaning work on yourself, get some therapy so that you know that you don't run into the same issues that you've had in previous relationships. That means that you're not insecure, you don't have trust issues anymore, and you can truly just take in whoever comes to you for who they are and go through the relationship confidently and recognize that if it's not working, you're not going to force it. You're going to kindly step away from it and move on to the next. We're not going to be toxic and stay in a relationship that's not healthy for us or the other person, right? And then on the outer appearance, too many times, and I can even say this for myself. I'll use myself as an example. Now, I'm married. I ain't checking for nobody. But I be going out the house sometime looking a hot ass mess, okay? Sometimes I still have my hair wrap on, but not in the traditional way of like a bonnet, right? So I wear a scarf, and what I do is I tie my little scarf in the front to look like a little bow, so it looks like I wrapped my head. So I'll go out like that sometimes. Nice little pretty silk, colorful little wrap. Sometimes it's all black. And I'll sometimes also have on my glasses. I wear contacts, but when I'm home on the weekend, I like to give my eyes a rest. That's why I said I couldn't see, because I have my contacts out, and I took my glasses off to do the show. They were sliding down my nose anyway. So And then I don't have my ring on or anything. I'm just like running to the store to get something real quick. And I noticed that the bummiest of dudes will be in my face and try to talk. Obviously, I'm married, so that conversation ends very quickly. But in my head, I'm thinking like we all do when dudes that we feel like are beneath us try to holler at us. We'd be like, what makes you think that you can talk to me? Like, what about me says that I'm somebody that you could hit on? You look a hot ass mess. That's why, like, you in your head know what you look like when you go out, but that nigga don't know. And I think that y'all, cause not me, y'all, cause I ain't checking for nobody, but y'all got to get that out of your head. And that's what the people are on the show. It's like, oh, I look like this now, but I don't normally look like this when I go out. Let's be clear. 9 times out of 10, when you getting ready with your girls to go out to an event, you're not finding the man of your life at that event. Them fuck niggas out there that's at them events that y'all going to, for the most part, that man that you looking for that's going to settle down with you is probably not at that hot girl event. They're just probably not. So it doesn't matter how you look at that event. What do you look like every day? If every day you step out your house and you don't show effort, then you missing out. You don't think your man at the grocery store, you do know they have to grocery shop, you know. Them men got to go get groceries too. You don't think the day at the grocery store? You don't think you're going to find him at the Walgreens? You don't think he might be in the car behind you or in front of you at the drive-thru or in the Chipotle when you go get your food? Why do you think these people don't eat? And why do you think these people don't go to the store? They do. You don't think they're at the doctor's office and you around here to come in your sleepwear at the doctor's office just because you feel like, okay, well, they going to ask me to take my clothes off anyway. These people got to go out too. And you can't just think that you're just going to find somebody when you go to a gala, when you go to a party. That's just not realistic. Look your best, yes, because you might see somebody, but you need to look your best all the time, because what happens is people will be like, hey, you know so-and-so? Oh, that's who you're talking to? Why? Because these are the people who see you every day. So their impression of you is not going to be that great. They're just going to be like, yeah, she all right. Because you're not giving your effort when you go out. So I'm not saying that you got to have on a full face of makeup. But what I'm saying is you need to step out as if I see somebody, I want to look my best. But if I got on my t-shirt and some sweatpants and my slides and socks or Crocs and I go somewhere, but I want a 6-figure man, you really think that 6-figure man looking for you? You know, we always be like, well, my face beat, or I got my lashes on and my eyebrows. What that mean? You look like you're not the type of caliber of woman that I want to associate with. And one thing I learned from my husband and just his friends when I talk to him, because I ask these questions to the man, a man wants a woman to represent who they are as a person as well. They don't want to be with a woman that doesn't match their fly, right? I'm not going to be with somebody that I got to bring up. I want to be, especially a man that's already established, a man that already has something. I need somebody that's equally fly. I ain't got time to be bringing somebody up. Unless this was somebody that he knew from the womb and grew up loving this person, he ain't bringing nobody up. He not getting you from the slums saying that this ain't Pretty Woman. They ain't picking you up from the slums like, okay, I'm gonna get you together. That face ain't gonna be that pretty with you in that bonnet on, or you in your head scarf, or you in your workout clothes. Your face ain't gonna be that pretty. It's just not. And guess what? I'm not saying a man ain't gonna holler at y'all with those things on, but do understand that ain't gonna be that provider. That's not gonna be that long-term one, because they looking at you and approaching you from a space of either I want to get some, or this is just a good time. You know what I'm saying? This isn't somebody that I see on my arm or walking down the aisle. So all I'm saying is put your best foot forward, be open-minded to it. I think that a lot of this could be avoided. This whole, like, nobody approaching me. I can't find a man. They're nowhere. By always putting your best foot forward. And I know you're thinking, even when you go to work, I know you'd be like, I don't want to find nobody at work. But when you go to work, you're not always, and I don't know where everybody works, but I would imagine, unless you're just in an office space that no one comes in and you guys just work on accounts or something all day. But even then, it may be a new person that comes in that is a partner from another agency that has to come in for a meeting, or someone else that's doing some other type of work to the facility or some of the equipment or something that's in there. There's still going to be people, or it might be somebody that works there who has a friend who's looking for somebody. Their friend wants to be hooked up with. They not going to suggest you because you don't think that you come to work looking a hot mess because you feel like, well, ain't nobody here. No, somebody's always watching. So go out the house like somebody's always watching. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't even know if I could keep that up if I was single. You know what I'm saying? But I do know when me and my husband go out, I try not to embarrass him. I try to look the part when we going somewhere. I can't say I do it when I'm by myself now. I do think I look a hot mess, but again, I'm not checking for nobody. The old housewives and us, or wives and stuff, and maids and stuff. And when I say maids, I mean like I'm still talking about married women. We need to be the ones out here looking a hot mess, and then looking envious of y'all single women, like, ooh, she put together, ooh, she got it together, because I'm gonna step out looking a hot mess. And no matter what you say, ladies, because we like to say that, oh, we don't put our wigs and makeup on for men, we don't do it, we do it for ourselves. That's a lie. Y'all be doing it to compete with other women, and that's the truth. Ashley said it, and when she said that thing, I was like, you ain't never lied. She was like, you all would never admit it, but you get dressed when y'all go to these little events. Y'all be thinking, I want to be the baddest bitch in the room. I want to walk in the room and all eyes be on me. So you be trying to one up all the other women around you. You want to be the baddest. You want to have the nicest body. You want your hair to be laid. You want to have on designer clothes, and all of that is it because you want to be in competition with another woman. Well, don't just do that at an event. You need to think about like that every time you go out, because why is this man going to choose you over anybody else that's in his peripheral if you ain't got it together? So that same competition mindset that you have when you going out and how you want to look your best, do that on a daily basis. Otherwise, Pookie and them going to always be the ones that holler at you because you come across low maintenance, and he know he can manage low maintenance, right? If you want a high caliber man, you got to present high caliber. It's not rocket science. But yet we tend to just still feel like we going to catch something when we don't look like nothing. I don't know. I can't figure it out, but we'll finish this discussion. So until next week, y'all, I'll holla. Bye.